Welcome back, everybody. We're getting on the road to better hearing with Daniel Island Hearing Center. Daniel Island Hearing Center is our ABC News 4 audiology expert. Joining us this morning is Dr. Jennifer Essie. And Jennifer, I want to ask you first, what are some of the signs and symptoms of hearing problems? Because this is such a widespread problem here in our country.
Well, we often joke about it, but honestly, turning up the television too loudly or radio too loudly is usually the first thing that other family members and friends will mention. So if your TV's louder than others are comfortable with, that's one early sign.
Sure.
Ringing in the ears, surprisingly, can be an early warning sign that your hearing is changing. Other things are that people seem to be mumbling. People are struggling to get their point across, and you're asking for repetition a lot. Those are some early warning signs as well.
Now, that hearing, the ringing in your ear, is that something that is prolonged, or is it something that comes and then goes away? Because even I have it sometimes.
It's different for everyone. It can come and go, but for people who tend to have it more chronically, those are the people we would want to have their hearing evaluated earlier than later.
Well, let's talk about evaluating that hearing and any partial hearing loss. You guys have a great operation over on Daniel Island, so tell us about what happens when you first walk through the door and you make that first appointment.
It's a very easy transition from door to the back of my office where my booth is. Our staff will greet you and get you situated, and then I will bring you back and give you a full explanation of what we're doing. We take a case history. It's really important to know about your medical history, your medications, your family history with hearing. Surgeries are important to know about as well with the ears. And then we test your hearing by examining everything from the outer ear. There could be wax, fluid, a foreign body. We've seen everything in there. And then if you need a medical referral, we would send you to an ENT if there was something that could be treated either surgically or medicinally. But 95% of cases actually end up being a straight up nerve hearing loss. And those are the ones that I would work with and very closely examine options for hearing, hearing aids, communication strategies, and even accessories.
You mentioned the foreign objects in there as a cause. What are some of the other more mainstream causes of hearing loss, aside from age?
Right. Noise-induced hearing loss is very common in this area. If you're a hunter or a shooter, if you've been working in a factory, even for a short period of time, that level of noise, even with hearing protection, can harm your hearing long term. And it can take years to set in.
Yeah.
So the earlier you can get a baseline and measure it year to year, the better.
Well, what do you recommend sharing with your audiologist once you make that appointment?
I would recommend everything from your ear surgery history. If there's a family history of hearing loss, you want to share that with them, because even if your hearing hasn't progressed yet, we will want to track that over time. Also medications. If you've ever had chemotherapy treatment or radiation of the head and neck, specifically for cancer treatment, there are certain types we look for and would want to monitor for ototoxic medications.
Sure. Let's talk about solutions a little bit, and the things that you guys can do at Daniel Island Hearing to help everybody kind of embrace the world around them once again and get back to where they were before.
That's the fun part, really, yeah. You know, everything from just how to speak to people, slowing down your rate of speech, using visual cues, watching people as they talk. Those are the basics that we would go over. And then if it's appropriate, we would recommend amplification. And the fun part of it is hearing aids have gotten smaller and smarter.
Right.
So they don't have to show, they don't have to be obvious, but at the same time, they're going to do everything automatically for you. You really have to do very little aside from putting the hearing aid in, taking it out, and maybe doing the odd cleaning on it.
And I'm sure you can walk people through how to put it in, how to take it out, and how to care for it as well.
Very straightforward. You know, the fitting process of teaching someone how to use a hearing aid is typically 15 to 20 minutes of instruction.
Wow.
So that part is really the least part. The part we really like to talk about in detail and counsel is how to adapt to hearing well, because if you haven't heard well for a lot of years, it's a transition to actually have sound that, that means something. It's fun, but it's new. So we teach people a lot about how to transition.
Well, it sounds wonderful. And you brought a device, one of these new age hearing aids, along with you.
Yeah, these are accessories sitting in front of me. What people may not know is that hearing aids are wirelessly connectable to phones, television. This is a television wireless device. We have remote controls to help control volume and change settings on hearing aids, so the patient has some manual control without having to go to the audiologist every time they want an adjustment.
Sure.
I'm actually wearing a hearing instrument in my right ear, and I think it's important to show people how light, inconspicuous, and easy to wear these are.
Our monitor is about 6 feet away. I still can't even see it.
And in fact, yeah, you know, that's the point, is that even with short hair or very little hair, These instruments are quite inconspicuous.
Indeed. Dr. Jennifer, if somebody wants to make an appointment, how do they go about doing that?
You can reach us through our website at danielislandhearing.com, or you can call us directly at 971-4199.
All right, great tips right there. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you
coming
for
in.
having
I
me.
appreciate being here.
Nice to see you.
All right, right now we're going to send it over to Tessa.